I would like to propose a theory to you regarding drinking alcohol to the point of blacking out. Not passing out or becoming unconscious. Blacking out, where alcohol displaces your memory for a span of time. And the theory goes like this. Regardless of how much a person has drank, alcohol will not completely erase your memory during instances of physical altercations or sexual activity with a newer person or partner. Let me rephrase it so you understand where I'm going with this. People who claim to have blacked out during an evening where they got into a fight or they engaged in sexual activity are simply lying about their memory. And the reasoning behind this theory is, as you can probably imagine, is that under the conditions of danger or fear or a new sexual encounter, the brain experiences a much more heightened sense of awareness. But let me add some stipulations to this before we go on any further. Number one, drug use is excluded from this theory. Once we start talking about opioids and pills or anything along that line, it's an entirely new ballgame. I am not talking about anything along the lines of drugs. We're just talking about booze specifically here. Number two, blackout, again, does not mean passed out or unconscious. So the person typically would be conscious. They're walking around, they're having conversations. They may not remember those conversations or a certain period of time, thus the term they blacked out. And number three, the new sexual encounter has to be something under 3 to 6 months, because as we all know, that the excitement of a new sexual encounter it diminishes over time. So those who are in a long-term relationship say, yeah, they do black out. That really doesn't count. Those are excluded from the theory as well. What we're really talking about here are one-night stands. So let me know, what do you think? Where this theory comes from, as you can probably imagine, is from some people out there will use the blackout excuse for getting into a fight, becoming an a-hole, ruining a party or everyone's evening because they couldn't remember what happened. Or on the other side of the coin, people who say they blacked out when they had sex with someone that they probably shouldn't have. Perhaps they were cheating. Perhaps they were sleeping with someone of lower quality, someone they wouldn't normally sleep with, and therefore they can use the excuse by saying, I don't remember what happened. I don't know. I don't remember. I blacked out. See, they use the blackout as an excuse to avoid the responsibility of their behavior. Let me give you like a really specific example that you've probably heard, depending on where you work. Something along these lines, like, "Hey, Sarah, I saw you and Chuck from accounting went out together after our happy hour on Friday. Sounds saucy. What happened there?" And then Sarah replies, "I don't know, I blacked out." Where do you stand on this issue? Is it possible, mentally possible, for someone to wake up in jail the next morning and not remember fighting the bartender the previous night? Is that mentally possible? Or perhaps is it mentally possible that someone had a one-night stand and during the middle of the night, the other person got up and went home, and that person whose home it was woke up in the morning and doesn't remember anything about the encounter, doesn't even remember that person was there until someone told him later on that day, like, oh, Bill or Jane were at your house, what happened? And then you're like, they were? Is that mentally possible? You can probably guess where I stand on this issue. I believe the theory does hold true in my own experiences. I think everyone probably has their own experience, but in my own experiences, I will not forget even an argument. I will say I've never really been in a drunken physical fight. I do black out, and I have done some stupid shit. But fighting and sex are not erased from my memory. Other things have been, but not those two things. Now, when I have talked to others at social gatherings and asked this question, and this is the whole purpose for this video, which I will get to in a minute, it's an interesting response that I get, because on the female side, many of the women will say, yes, they remember every sexual encounter, regardless of how much they drank that night. While the men will say, no, I have blacked out and I don't remember certain things. Many of those fall under the stipulations of length of time and how long they were dating someone. I also have a friend that woke up with a broken nose in a fight he got into and said he doesn't remember who punched him. So he is one outside of the theory. And I also have another friend who is experimenting with the theory and going out and seeing how drunk he can get and sleeping with many women and seeing if he will forget any of them. So that's fun too. But again, the real point of this video is I want you to use this theory as a question to engage others at social events. Social events like a happy hour, a gathering such as a graduation party. Those are all going on now. Graduation parties, a campfire. Use this and ask other people and watch the responses you get. It's a myriad of responses, and it's fun. There's emotions all over the board, and it's a very engaging conversation. So use this and put it into your conversation tool belt. The next video I got coming up, I want to discuss this statement that many of us, when we were single, have heard that says, well, there's someone out there for everyone. Do you believe that? And have you heard that before? And what are your thoughts on that? So, thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Almost intellectuals, that's who we are. We'll take you